The next property is sampling or shifting property. Sampling or shifting property. So we have already seen what is x of t into del of t minus t naught and x of t into del of t from the previous property when you multiply an impulse, any function with an impulse function. What will be the value of this x of t into del of t minus t naught? It is same as x of t naught multiplied with delta of t minus t naught, del of t minus t naught, right? And again it is under integral minus infinite to infinite dt. Now x of t naught is independent of t. T is the variable, t naught is a constant, so this value is not going to change. X of t naught is not going to change, so it's a constant. So I'll take the constant outside. It becomes x of t naught integral minus infinite to infinite del of t minus t naught dt, right? Del of t minus t naught dt. Del of t minus t naught looks something like this, right? At t naught it is defined, at all other values it is 0. If you consider the area under this curve from minus infinite to infinite integration, if you take, it is nothing but considering the area under this curve, which is nothing but it is equal to 1. The area under this curve is equal to 1. So this whole thing becomes 1. It becomes 1. So simplifying this, we get x of t naught, right? The same thing will apply here, but instead of t naught, we're going to make t naught as 0. So if you make t naught as 0, t naught 0, so this becomes x of 0 and this becomes del of t. So integration minus infinite to infinite delta of t dt. Now instead of the impulse here, we get impulse at t is equal to 0. Wherever the position of impulse, the area under the curve from minus infinite to infinite is always equal to 1. It's always equal to 1. So the final answer will be x of 0, right? The same thing is proved here. The next one is replication property. So the proof looks very similar. Delta of t minus tau. We're considering x of tau and delta of t minus tau. Delta of t minus tau will only be defined at tau is equal to t. Here the independent variable, let us consider it to be tau. Okay, the independent variable is tau and t is the constant. So from the definition of impulse, we can say delta of t minus tau is only defined for t is equal to tau, and for all other tau it is 0. So when you multiply this term and take integration, we know when you take multiply and take integration, it is nothing but this function x of tau at Where does this exist? This exists only at tau is equal to t. So x of tau at tau is equal to t. So in place of tau we substitute t. So x of t. So this is the same. This formula is also called convolution formula. Convolution of x of t and delta of t. This convolution we will study in detail in concepts of convolution and correlation. That is one of the topics in the first unit. So basically what this property states is, when you convolve any signal x of t, when you convolve any signal x of t with an impulse function, the result is the same function x of t. Now the last property is scaling property. Delta of at is equal to 1 by mod a delta of t. So let us prove this property. Let us consider this integral minus infinite to infinite mod a into delta of at dt. Now I will consider at is equal to some tau. Now what will t become? T will become tau divided by a, and dt will be equal to d tau divided by a. Now I'm changing the variable t into tau. That means I'm changing the variable t into tau. So I have to change the limits as well. T limits are minus infinite to plus infinite, right? So how will tau vary? When t is equal to minus infinite, tau is also equal to minus infinite. When t is equal to infinity, tau is equal to infinity. Now I substitute all these variables or all these values in the integral, above integral. So it becomes minus infinite to infinite integral minus infinite to infinite mod a into del of, in place of at I will substitute t or tau. In place of at I'll substitute tau. In place of d tau I'll substitute, in place of dt I'll substitute d tau by a. I substitute d tau by a. Right? All these things I will substitute here. Now this one can be further simplified into mod a. I'll get mod a outside because it's a constant, and this 1 by a also, it's a constant. I'll get it outside. So I'm left with integral minus infinite to infinite delta of tau d tau, delta of tau d tau, right? Now this is all for a greater than 0. This is the first case. A is greater than 0. Now let me take a less than 0. This is the second case. What will happen if a is less than 0? The substitutions will be the same. Okay, so I will substitute and I will get minus infinite to infinite mod a delta of tau in place of dt I'll have d tau by a. Similar to the previous simplification, I'll do the simplification here, which is when a is negative, look at the limits here. So now we'll look for a is equal to or a is less than 0, right? When a is less than 0, we'll do the same substitutions. At, in place of at, I'm going to substitute tau. So t is equal to tau by a, dt is equal to d tau by a, and t is equal to minus infinite and infinite. Those are the limits, minus infinite to infinite. So what will the limits for tau be? When t is equal to minus infinite, this is negative. T is equal to minus infinite, this is negative, and a is less than 0, this is also negative. So when t is equal to minus infinite, tau is equal to plus infinite, right? Then when t is equal to plus infinite, this is for negative, this is negative, and this is positive. So tau is equal to minus infinite. Now let us substitute these values into the integral. It becomes integral from plus infinite to minus infinite, plus infinite to minus infinite, mod a, in place of delta of at, I'll substitute delta of tau, d tau by a, right? Now I'll simplify this. I'll get mod a outside because it's a constant, and I'll divide by a because that is also a constant, and here I'm left with delta of tau d tau, delta of tau d tau, right? The limits are plus infinity to minus infinity. Now what I'll do, I'll reverse the limits, upper limit to lower limit and lower limit to upper limit. When I reverse the upper and lower limits, I should introduce a negative sign. Right? So what will happen? This is a positive value. This is a positive value. This is a negative value. So negative and negative multiplied, it will become positive. So the final answer will be mod a by a integral minus infinite to infinite del of tau d tau, right? For both a greater than 0 and a less than 0, we arrived at the same answer. That is, this gets cancelled, right? Mod a by a is nothing but a by a. It gets cancelled. This also gets cancelled. So we are left with, what are we left with? We are left with, let me take a different color. We are left with integral minus infinite to infinite mod a del of at dt is equal to, on the right hand side we have integral minus infinite to plus infinite. What do we have on the right hand side? Del of tau d tau. Here on the right hand side I can just make a simple substitution. Tau is equal to t, right? It is the same, del of t dt, right? This is the final equation after combining both these two cases. This is the first case and this is the second case. Now what I can do, I can differentiate on both sides with respect to t. So what will happen? The integration minus infinite to infinite dt can be eliminated, right? Dt can be eliminated. So what am I left with there? I am left with mod a delta of at is equal to delta of t. Find this, we get delta of at is equal to 1 by mod a into delta of t. This is our final property, right? Now let us try and evaluate following a few integrals based on the properties of impulse function. The first one is minus infinite integral minus infinite to infinite delta of t cos 3t by 2. Now from impulse properties we know a property called sampling property, right? Sampling property. According to sampling property, what do we have? Minus infinite to infinite x of t into delta of t dt is equal to x of 0, right? This is the sampling property. So here x of t, what is x of t when you compare these two equations, these two integrals? X of t is nothing but cos 3t by 2, that is x of t, right? So the whole integral can be evaluated as x of 0, that is cos 3t by 2 at t is equal to 0. That means cos, in place of t I'll substitute 0, which means it is equal to 1, right? We are comparing it with one of the impulse properties, minus infinite to infinite x of t into del of t dt, which is equal to x of 0. So in place of x of t we have cos 3t by 2. So x of 0 means cos 3t by 2 at t is equal to 0. Substitute t is equal to 0 and we get 1, right? Same thing. The next integral will be delta of t minus pi by 6 into 6 sine t. There is dt missing here, right? Now we have another sampling property. This was the first sampling property, and the other sampling property is x of t into delta of t minus t naught, which can be simplified into x of t naught. So here, what is x of t in this integral? In this integral, x of t is equal to 6 into sine t. Then t naught, what is the value of t naught? T naught is equal to pi by 6. T naught is equal to pi by 6. So we'll substitute, the final answer is going to be x of t naught, right? X of t naught. So what is x of t naught? It is 6 sine In place of t naught, we have pi by 6. What is pi by 6? What is pi by 6? Pi by 6 is 180 by 6. 180 by 6 is 30. Sine 30 is equal to 1 by 2. So we have 3. The answer is 3. The answer is 3. Next, this is the final integral we're going to evaluate based on the properties of impulse functions. We are given 1 by root 2 pi minus infinite to infinite t square e power minus t square by 2 delta of 1 minus 2t. So we have to get this into some standard form. We'll try, see, there is a multiplicative factor of 2 here for t. To get this into standard form, we need to have t separately. We should not have any multiplicative factor for t. So what we can do, delta of t, in place of delta of 1 minus 2t, I'll take 2 common inside. Inside this 1 minus 2t, let me take 2 common. If I take 2 common, what will happen? I'll get delta of 2 into 1 by 2 minus t, right? Delta of 2 into 1 minus 2 by 1 minus 2 minus 1 by 2 minus t. This whole thing I'll consider to be t. This whole thing I'll consider to be t. So what is this in the form of? This is in the form of delta of a t. Delta of a t. What is the value of delta? What is the formula for delta of a t? It is nothing but 1 by mod a into delta of t, right? Here the value of a is 2. So I can write this portion as 1 by 2 into delta of 1 by 2 minus t. So this is replaced with delta of 1 by 2 minus t with a multiplicative factor of 1 by 2. Right? Now, sampling property again. Delta of t minus t naught. Compare this equation with this. What is delta of t minus t naught? This one, right? And what is the value of t naught? What is the value of t naught? It is equal to 1 by 2. Or I can also say this is a even function, right? This is an even function. So delta of this is also equal to, or this delta of 1 by 2 minus t is only defined at t is equal to 1 by 2, right? It is only defined at t is equal to 1 by 2. So I can substitute in the entire thing t is equal to 1 by 2. If I substitute in the entire thing t is equal to 1 by 2, this becomes 1, and here I am left with 1 by 2 root 2 pi t square e power minus t square by 2 at t is equal to 1 by 2. So if I put value of t is equal to 1 by 2, I am left with 1 by 2 root 2 pi t square. 1 by 2 square is 1 by 4 e power minus t square 1 by 4 by 2, that is 1 by 8. So I am left with 1 by 8 root 2 pi e power minus 1 by 8. That is my final answer.